भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto First, Chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali, Shloka number 15 and 16. Anagatsu iha bhuteshu
रागसु इह भूतेषु
यह आगः कृत निरंकुशः
यः आगः कृन निरंकुशः
आहर्ता अस्मि भुजं साक्षात्
आहर्तामस्मि भुजं साक्षात्
अमर्त्यस्य अपि स अंगदम्
अमर्तस्य च अपि स अंगदम्
राज्ञः हि परमः धर्मः
राज्ञा हि परमः धर्मः
स्वधर्मस्य अनुपालनम्
स्वधर्मस्य अनुपालनम्
स्वधर्मस्य अनुपालनम्.
स्वधर्मस्थ अनुपालनम्
Can you font big?
शाश्वतः अन्यान् हरे कृष्ण
Font of the shloka can you make big?
जस्ट अ सेकंड माता जी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
कृष्णा
Achasat
कृष्णा
anyan
हरे
yatha.
हरे यस माता जी
Chashat anyan yatha.
शासतः अन्यान् यथा
Shashram anapadi upt anapadi upadyut patan iya.
शास्त्रम् अनापदि उत्पठान इह
अनागत्सु इह भूतेषु
अनाघसु इह भूतेषु
यः आगस्कृत निरंकुशः
यः आगः कृत निरंकुशः
आहर्ता अस्मि भुजं साक्षात्
आहर्तास्मि भुजं साक्षात्
अमर्त्यस्यपि स अंगदम्
अमर्त्यसपि अंगदम्
राज्ञः हि परमः धर्मः
राज्ञा हि परमः धर्मः
स्वधर्मस्थ अनुपालनम्
स्वधर्मस्थ अनुपालनम्
शासत अन्यान् यथा
शासतः अन्यान् यथा शास्त्रम्
शास्त्रम् अनापद अ, युतपथान् इह
अनाप अनापदि उत्पठान इह
पदि उत्पान् इह अनागत्सु ह्य भूतेषु य आगः कृत निरंकुशः आहर्तस्मै भुजं साक्षात् अमर्त्यस्यपि स अंगदम् राज्ञः हि परमः धर्मः स्वधर्मस्य अनुपालनम् शासत अन्यान् यथा शास्त्रम् अनापदि उत्पा उत्पाथान इह
अनागहसु इह भूतेषु यः अगाः कृत निरंकुशः आहर्ता अस्मि भुजां साक्षात् अमर्तस्य अपि स अंगदम् राज्ञा हि परमः धर्मः स्वधर्मस्थ अनुपालनम् शास्त्रतः अन्यान् यथा शास्त्रम् अनापदि उत्पठान इह
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. An upstart living being who commits offenses by torturing those who are offenseless shall shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. The supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to law abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinance of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. The denizens of the heavenly kingdom are called Amar or deathless due to their possessing a long span of life far greater than that of the human being. For a human being who has only a maximum 100-year duration of life, a span of life spreading over millions of years is certainly considered to be deathless. For example, from the Bhagavad Gita, we learn that on the Brahma's planet, the duration of one day is calculated to be 43 lakh into 1000 solar years. Similarly, in other heavenly planets, one day is calculated to be 6 months of this planet, and the inhabitants get a life of 10 millions of their years. Therefore, in all higher planets, since the span of life is far greater than that of the human being, the denizens are called deathless by imagination. Although actually no one within the material universe is deathless, Maharaj Parikshit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenseless. This means that the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of a state executive head that the offender of the courts of God is always punished. In the scripture, there is mention of apada dharma or occupational duty at times of extraordinary happening. It is said that sometimes the great sage Vishwamitra had to live on the flesh of dogs in some extraordinary dangerous position. In cases of emergency, one may be allowed to live on the flesh of animal of all description, but that does not mean that there should be regular slaughterhouses to feed the animal eaters and that this system should be encouraged by the state. No one should try to live on flesh in ordinary times simply for the sake of the palate. If anyone does so, the king or the executive head should punish him for God's enjoyment. There are regular scriptural injunctions for different persons engaged in different occupational duties, and one who follows them is called Swadharmastha or faithful in one prescribed duties. In Bhagavad Gita 18.48, it is advised that one should not give up his occupational prescribed duties, even if they are not always flawless. Such swadharma might be violated in cases of emergency. If one is forced by circumstances, but they cannot be violated in ordinary time, the state executive head is to see that such swadharma is not changed by the follower, whatever it may be, and he should give all protection to the follower of Swadharma. The violator is subject to punishment in terms of the Shastra, and the duty of the king is to see that everyone strictly follows his occupational duty as prescribed in the scriptures. ओम तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वांछा कल्पतरुभे च कृपा सिंधुभे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. Today we try to understand shloka number 15 and 16 of chapter 17 of Canto first. In 15 number shloka, they're describing about how the head of the state executive, how is means state of executive is always alert, and it should be the principle applied, that the offender of the code of God is always punished. If someone is doing offense towards offenseless, then they are the head of that must uh, punish that person. And in shloka number 16, they describe about the duty, supreme duty of the ruling uh, ruling king. Here they describing about the uh, apada dharma or occupational duty. What is occupational duty? That is described. This is most important, both aspects describing in these two shlokas. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. And here they also
Hare Krishna
told
Rateshwari
about
Mataji.
the
Please join the
Swadharma.
new link which I have shared in the chat box. Please join on that other link. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful summarization of this particular topic. So while we are just discussing this topic, the fact which becomes most highlighting is something which Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji has mentioned in Sri Tattva-sutram 35 number. He writes, those who think that devotion to God and kindness to the jivas are mutually different from each other and perform accordingly in their life, such persons will not be able to follow the devotional culture. Their performance is only a semblance of devotion. Therefore, all the types of beneficiaries to others, like kindness, friendliness, forgiveness, charity, respect, etc., are included in bhakti. Charity of medicines, clothes, food, water, etc., shelter during adversities, teaching of academic and spiritual education are the activities included in the devotional culture. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji is writing very clearly that kindness to the jivas is not mentioning to human beings. And this is exactly what has been derived from the shlokas that we are seeing, and what Parikshit Maharaj has actually been practicing throughout his life. And that is why he clearly declares that any upstart living being who is going to commit offenses by torturing the offenseless, he shall be directly uprooted by me. And he says that even if he is found to be a denizen of heaven, who has armor, who has decoration, still I will punish him. And he is able to declare it strongly because he knows that the supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to law abiding persons. And that is exactly what he is doing. Now, he further says that it is also a duty that he should chastise those who stray from the ordinances of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. Now, in this shloka, he's talking about denizens of heaven. So Prabhupada ji starts discussing about them first. Because generally we feel that once you go to Swargaloka or somewhere, you will be Amaraha. That is deathless. You will not have to face death. But the real fact is, in the material universe, wherever you go, it is temporary. It is Dukkhalayama Shashvatam. So how is it that we feel that someone in the upper planetary systems, in heaven or somewhere, he is Amar, will never die? So Prabhupada ji explains this to us when he says that it is because they possess a very long span of life, which is far, far greater than that of human beings. Now, for humans generally, especially in Kali Yuga, the lifespan which can be expected is around 100 years duration of life. So, if against those 100 years, someone tells that there's a life which is millions of years, then it is certainly seeming like deathless. Like in Bhagavad Gita, we learn the lifespan of Brahmaji on in the Brahmalok planet, where the day is calculated as 43 lakh into 1000 solar years. A day, huh? One day. And Brahmaji lives like this 100 years. Or in there are some other planetary systems where one day is equal to 6 months of this planet. So then the life is 10 million years. So in all higher planets, because the lifespan is high, so human beings consider that they are deathless. It is their imagination. It is again a illusion which is created by Maya. Because actually, no one in the material world is deathless. So Maharaj Parikshit says that I would challenge even such denizens if they torture the offenseless. And that is where this becomes an important learning for us, that we should not be doing any aghakrita, that is, we should not be committing offenses. And against whom? Anaghasu iha bhuteshu, to the offenseless living beings. It is very important. Otherwise, they'll be called as Nirankush, upstarts who are not controllable. So, Parikshit Maharaj is making us understand that the executive heads of a government, they should be as strong as him, so that they will be determined to punish the strong offenders. It should be the principle of a government that offenders of the courts of God are always punished. And when such things will get implemented, that would be the real time that someone can consider there can be a world which is full of peace and prosperity. And that is what we have to be targeting to achieve. Because real religion is dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. This is something which we had seen occasionally, but which is very clearly mentioned in Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 3rd chapter, and 19th shloka. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam na vai vidurasyo napi devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushya kuto na vidyadhara charanadaya. So it means real religious principles are enacted by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas and Charanas. So materialistic persons who attach all their faith, they are only Vedavad Ratha Partha na Anyad Astiti Vadina. But those who understand the real laws of God, they are explained in Bhagavad Gita again. Vedacha Sarver Aham Eva Vedya. Was they understand that the only thing to be known through Vedas is Krishna. So the real religious principle is that which is given by Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is that principle? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. One should give up all other duties and surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the real religious principle everyone should follow. And that is the law of God that is being talked about and implemented. That is the religion. So, exemplary ethical behavior is a symptom who has surrendered to Krishna. Like in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen the list of the descriptions of surrendered soul. Not envious, friendly, compassionate, devoid of selfish interest, not identifying with the body, steady in happiness or distress, tolerant, forgiving, self control, content, grateful, determined to remain on spiritual path, modest, puts no one in difficulty, not disturbed by others or by fear or anxiety, pure of heart, equal to all, indifferent to honor and dishonor, avoids bad company and frivolous talk, wise, consistent, and always seeking to serve God and others. So one who is following that is following the rules laid down by God. But then there can be certain situations wherein it may become difficult. And that is why in the scriptures there is a mention of apad dharma or occupational duty at times of extraordinary happening. Like it is said that the great sage Vishwamitra sometimes had to live on the flesh of dogs in some dangerous position. So in case of emergency, one may be allowed, but that does not mean that there should be regular slaughterhouses to feed the animal eaters and that it should be encouraged by the state. The real reason for all the problems that we are facing as human society today is encouragement of such slaughterhouses. So if government is very interested in having peace, the first thing that they should do is completely shut down the slaughterhouses and ban meat eating. No one should try to live on flesh in ordinary times simply for the sake of palate. If anyone does so, the king or the executive head should punish him for gross enjoyment. So there are regular scriptural injunctions for different persons engaged in different occupational duties. And one who follows them is called Swadharmastha or faithful in one's prescribed duties. Like in Bhagavad Gita 1848, it is advised that one should not give up the occupational prescribed duty even if they are not always flawless. सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदशोमपि न त्यजेत सर्वारंभा हि दोषेण धूमेन अग्निः इव आवृताः. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. It is very important that we should not give up our natural occupation because there is some disturbing element. Rather, we should become determined to serve Krishna by occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfect point. So when a particular type of occupation is performed for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. And when the results of work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in serving the Lord, seeing the self within, and then that is called as self-realization. So this is very, very important. Swadharma. So we should try to learn to follow the Swadharma. This is most important aspect if we have to seriously become sincere and successful in all our endeavors in life. But then there will be situations when this may become difficult. And for that, Prabhupada explains that Swadharma might be violated in case of emergency, if one is forced by circumstances, but they cannot be violated in ordinary times. So it is the government, the executive head, who has to see that Swadharma is not changed by the follower, whatever it may be, and he should give all protection to the followers of the Swadharma. The violator is subject to punishment in terms of the Shastra, and the duty of the king is to see that everyone strictly follows the occupational duties as prescribed in the scriptures. Because the moment we follow the occupational duties, it means we are abiding by the order of Krishna, because it is He who has created this segregation. Chaturvarnyam maya srushtam. And the moment we follow Him, Gopinathji is there behind us to ensure that He is guiding us from within and without on the right path to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is why we should always have faith in Krishna, surrender to Krishna, do our chanting, follow the four regulative principles, read the scriptures, be in association of the duties, and take only Krishna Prasadam, and be on the right path of going back home, back to Godhead. Thank you very much.